and Helen Blackshaw. Neither need much introduction, as they're familiar faces of Police Mutual. Between Emma and Helen, they are responsible for overseeing the wellbeing programme delivered by the police to the police family. With expertise within the NHS, before moving to the private sector, they provide rehabilitation, absence management and wellbeing, consultancy to large and complex organisations, which of course includes ours. You're both very welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. As we've already been introduced, I'm Helen and this is Emma, and today we're going to be talking to you about Police Mutual and the support that we can provide you as retired officers, but also your family as well. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have already heard of Police Mutual. We've been around for over 150 years now. We're a financial services organisation, but we also do a lot more. We are here to improve the lives of the police family, and that includes all of you as retired officers and members of your family. So what do we actually do? Lots of things, including all these on here. Insurance products, we write articles for the NARPO magazine, we have the Retirement Hub on our website, we attend various conferences, obviously including this one. We talk about NARPO on all of the pre-retirement courses that we attend, and we offer a few actual support services, which I'll go into in a little more detail in a moment. The Careline service and the Retirees Respite service, to name but two. So Careline is a telephone-based advice service, and it's provided through a company called Health Assured. Now, they are all trained counsellors at the end of a phone, and this is available to everybody within the police family, so that's serving and retired officers, support staff, and obviously family members as well. They can talk to you or your family about various different things, including coping with bereavement, any sort of trauma, mental health conditions, a physical health condition. It may be that you're going into hospital and you want to talk to somebody about the aftercare or the surgery that you're having. It may be that you want to talk to them about perhaps an elderly relative or any type of matters, whether it's legal or relationship as well. Lots more details about this can be found on our website if you want their phone number. And also they have a website, an e-portal, which you can go on and you can ask direct questions as well as providing and reading different articles. Another service that we provide is respite for retired officers that either have dementia themselves or are a carer of somebody with dementia. Have any of you heard of this service before? Yeah? Has anybody nominated somebody or know somebody that's been on a break? Yeah? That's good. I'm really pleased to see a few hands going up there, so that's really good. As you can see from the figures here, we've offered this support to over 80 families so far since launch. And it's a little bit different to your standard respite, which I'm sure you'll understand quite often. Couples get separated for that break. The person with dementia goes to some sort of care facility, and the other person stays at home or maybe goes on holiday with friends or family. But we found that most people, as you'll all understand, in this situation, have been married 40, 50 years, even longer, and they don't want to go on a break on their own. They don't want to be split up. The carer needs a break, but they still want to be with their partner. So we've managed to find some specialist providers who they can go on this break with other couples in the same situation. And they're very traditional type holidays, and it means as well, not only are they having a break, but they're talking to other people in exactly the same situation, which means that they understand each other. You know, they can make friends for future, they can talk to each other about what their partner does or says, and that these people really do truly understand. And we've had some really, really good feedback. So if any of you do feel that you know somebody in this situation that would benefit from this service, then if you're not one yourself, so chairs, secretaries and welfare officers of branches can nominate for this service. If you're not one of those yourself, then obviously speak to one of them and tell them about the family. And they can send nominations directly to me, and then we can review and make sure that those applications are looked at, and then hopefully go on a break through one of these providers. So those services that I've just discussed, we've done for a few years now, but we wanted to actually look at, last year, what type of other things challenged you as retired officers, what type of things that you felt pressured for. And we had some ideas ourselves, as you can see on here. You may be the carer of elderly parents. You may be the carer of children, grandchildren, or even both. You may be the bank of mum and dad, for helping your children get on the mortgage ladder. You may have issues with your health. You may want a new job following retirement. A lot of officers do, majority of them do, if you include volunteering in that description. You may have debt problems, or your family might have. But these were just what we thought of were the challenges. So we wanted to gain a greater understanding of actually what are the pressures that are being experienced by NARPO members. So what we did was we carried out a survey which went out to all individual members of NARPO, and we had nearly 3,000 responses, which we're really pleased with because it was nearly 10%. And we had responses from 46 regions, which again was really, really good. Our highest contribution region-wise was Merseyside, which is great that we're here today in that force to be able to tell you about it. And also the highest group age-wise was 60 to 69, which you probably would have guessed would be the case. We had about 30 topics and we asked 7 questions. Now, this is a little bit small, so apologise to the people at the back. You may not be able to read this, but this just shows...
Or the people at the front.
Unless you've got your magnifying glasses out. This shows the regions as to who were the top forces. So you've got Merseyside, Suffolk, and I can't read the third one myself. Sussex, yeah. But you can see lots of different regions, and every age group was included in there, which was great because it meant that we had some of the younger retired officers filling it in, as well as the 80-pluses, which was really good. So included in those questions were the Office of National Statistics, I'm sure you've heard of, do surveys regularly. And we wanted to include a couple of questions in there to try and get a balance, just as a comparison really. So one of the questions were, how happy did you feel yesterday? And as you can see, NARPO members are happier than the national average, which is great. So well done to all of you. Just to take that into consideration, the national one is every age, so we're over 16, so not just the retired market. The other question that we asked was, how satisfied are you with life? And again, exactly the same level as national. So that's really good that either the same or better than the national average on those 2 questions. But what was the real reason for asking these questions? We wanted to try and establish what issues and worries were affecting everybody. And the top 10 concerns were where we're going to focus going forward the support that we can provide. So the top 10 concerns came out as the current state of policing, the losses of a loved one, the well-being of your partner, your own physical health, the well-being of an elderly relative, living with a disability, caring for an elderly relative, living with dementia, the well-being of children or grandchildren, and sleeping problems. So we've then looked at what we're going to do in the future to help those issues, and I'm going to pass you over to Emma now, who's going to explain what we're going to be doing going forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Helen. So Helen has talked you through the support that we currently provide to NARPO members in terms of the wellbeing support. So I'm going to very briefly, and it will be brief, talk about the additional support that we're going to be providing and what we're going to be doing in response to the survey that Helen has talked about. So firstly, should probably have clicked that beforehand. In response to the survey, the first thing that we're going to be doing is developing a wellbeing toolkit for welfare officers. So the toolkit is going to comprise a range of fact sheets on areas of wellbeing that came out in the survey in terms of areas of concern. So there's 3 fact sheets that we've developed so far. Have any of you had sight of those? Okay, so the idea is that we'll develop another 3 fact sheets going forward. I think we're actually going to have another 3 fact sheets that will be going onto the NARPO website over the next couple of weeks, so do please look out for those. And we'll also then be developing another 3 by the end of the year. The idea of the fact sheets is that it will contain information about the particular subject matter, but also links to relevant police mutual products and services, signposting to useful resources, and also kind of links to relevant notable awareness days, etc. If you do have any feedback on any of the fact sheets that you've seen so far, please do let us know. We're really keen to make sure that the toolkit is relevant and also that it kind of continues to evolve over time. So going into next year, we're really committed to trying to help improve the mental well-being of NARPO members. We've heard from the presentations that have taken place before ours. Mental well-being is something that's really important at every stage, particularly for retired officers. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is rolling out mental health first aid training. That will be kicking off in January of next year. We're delivering this to the NEC initially, and then rolling out a programme of training to welfare officers throughout the course of next year. We recognise that retirement isn't always a positive experience, that there can be feelings of loneliness, loss of identity, and also kind of the PTSD type symptoms that were mentioned earlier. So the idea of the mental health first aid training is really about trying to raise awareness around mental health. It's about making the welfare officers have the skills to be able to spot the early warning signs that somebody's mental health might be being impacted, but also then making sure that they actually have the confidence to be able to have a conversation around mental health. And probably most importantly, to know when and where to signpost. So please do look out for information about that training that will be coming out early next year. We're also committed to improving the financial well-being of retired officers. So we already do a lot to support the financial well-being of serving officers, and Andy talked about how we're supporting the National Wellbeing Wagons as well. We deliver financial education inputs into forces, and going into 2020, we're currently developing a financial wellbeing dashboard for retired officers. So this will be using Experian data and will hopefully give us a really unique insight into the state of financial wellbeing amongst retired officers. Looking at things like how many officers still have how many retired officers rather still have a mortgage, how many retired officers use 5 or more credit cards, the level of savings, etc. We hope to be able to then present the dashboard at the 8 regional branch chair meetings early in the new year, with a view to then being able to target specific branches where we can actually start to deliver some financial education inputs. And it's really about contributing to that kind of wider wellbeing agenda. So really, just to summarise, Helen's talked you through the range of support that we already provide in terms of respite breaks, in terms of our care line. This year we have the addition of the Wellbeing Toolkit for welfare officers. That, as I said earlier, will continue to evolve going into next year. And then we'll also be rolling out the mental health first aid training, as well as the financial education inputs as well. So hopefully all of this kind of continues to demonstrate our commitment to trying to help improve the well-being of your members. Thank you very much.